Hey everybody, welcome on into another episode of the B&D Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Brown, and I'm with my co-host,
Brandon Anderson. What's going on, gang? We have a very special treat for everybody out there, our listeners, all of our listeners out there. We have my man,
Papa John's in the house,
Papa
baby.
John. We got him.
PapaJohns.com, Worldwide Pizza website. We got Papa John himself.
We called him up. He said, absolutely, I would do a podcast with the B&D podcast. My boys over there at B&D.
Absolutely.
So here he is, Papa John.
Just came out sitting there with Peyton Manning and the Budweiser people and just walked on over.
Finally released his family, I hear.
That's what I do with my free time. Yeah.
Finally released Peyton and his family for
Exactly.
everything.
I had to let him go. Just wasn't cutting it like he used to. And by cutting it, I mean pizza. You mean.
Papa, you sound a lot different. Your voice does.
Got a little younger, you know?
Oh, okay.
Pizza will do that for you.
Pizza's the...
And you drink as much sody pop as I do.
If you haven't figured this out yet, this is actually not Papa John. It is at KSX Daywalker. That's all that. It's Calypso in the building. Kyle Sipple, dude. Kyle Scott Sipple in the flesh.
There's literally all of my aliases all in one lot. KSX Daywalker was my better one, though.
That was a good one.
Solid.
I might bring it back.
Did you have something before that? I feel like there was some. What was between KSX Daywalker and Calypso?
I don't know if I had one.
There was
I
nothing.
can give you my old emails from middle school, like BK Soccer 3 or something.
No, it was just KSX.
You know what's funny is like
Daywalker,
I made like a bunch of like burner emails, and I had like BK Soccer 1 through 9.
Why?
Signing up
like free stuff.
when I was signing up for stuff, like you don't want to put your real email, so you throw a little twist and tack a different number on.
So you went Katie style on everybody back then.
Exactly.
Respect.
Emailing myself, pretending to be myself, or other people, defending myself.
Well, we are going to pick Kyle's brain coming up a little bit later in the show. Kyle's also going to, let us know what he thinks on every single topic from between here and then. So pressure's on, man. Pressure is on. We're excited to have Kyle on board. Go and follow him first and foremost at Calypso, both on Twitter and Instagram. Any other outlets you'd like to plug in there?
It's pretty much where I'm posting all my mediocre stuff right now, so go ahead and take a gander there. Don't want to add me on Facebook, most likely. So,
Your website?
My website's been under construction for about a year and a half now.
Nice.
So, the problem is, it's like, you get to a certain point and you're like, well, I'm going to get my website done when I finish this group of content, but then you're like, what about the next one as well?
So you live with a web designer?
I do. He's designed it for me. It's just, I'm just slacking. But maybe before the end of 2017, maybe that'll make that a beginning of the year goal.
Well, go follow him if you see that he has finished his website. Then go find it. Go buy some prints.
Turn on my post notifications, my tweet notifications, and I'll be hitting you with that.
Smash that subscribe button. Just smash
When
it.
I get 1 million followers, I will release my website. So
I will give you half off on presets coming in at 5,000 each now. Normally 10,000 each.
Just stolen from Instagram. Going to be reselling those. So.
Hey.
Oh, man. Perfect. All right. Well, let's dive right into it. You guys know the drill. Let's swing away with a little bit of college football. This will probably be one of our last. Well, we'll have some bowl games and college football playoff, but talking about college football, man, we're coming up on one of the last podcasts where we'll be talking about college football for a while.
Well, I mean, it's always in the news, so I mean,
There's always something going on.
We'll put out something here or there, but it's not going to be like what we have been doing. But Utah gets into the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl. I wish it was the Raising Cane's Heart of Dallas Bowl.
Pretty good chicken nonetheless, though.
Yeah. But Zaxby's will do.
The Tendy Bowl, as we call it.
The Tendy Bowl, right? Is against West Virginia, who West Virginia is like a decent team. They're missing their QB, though. It's up in the air whether he's going to play. So it could be a good game. It's December 26th, a little after Christmas action.
Day after.
It really couldn't be like a more random team for Utah to play. Like
It is really weird. You know what's kind of disappointing
makes sense, but
is that this is like Utah's best bowl opponent in a while, and it came on the heels of a 6-6 season because this bowl like isn't affiliated with the Pac-12. It's just two at-large teams.
Yeah.
So that's kind of lame, man. That like
it
your
was
conference
season.
bowl tie-ins are kind of crappy if you don't get to the Rose Bowl. But
yeah,
I mean, or the national championship bet.
So it's the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl?
Yeah. At least that's what it's been called in the past. I don't know if Zaxby's is sponsoring it.
Do you know what's the payout?
This year.
Do you know what the payout is?
$5.
$5.
And a bowl of
The payout
tendies.
is
And a bowl of chicken
$5.
tenders.
Everyone gets some tendies.
I mean,
$1.2 million is your payout for
So,
Zaxby's Heart of Dallas.
That's $5 compared to like what you could get if you get
What,
like
for
number 6.
reference, like what's the Rose Bowl payout?
I can't give you an exact number. I'm not
Okay,
gonna
well,
guess
I
it,
saw
but
one-
It's a lot.
I saw one prediction that I actually had you guys in the Potato Bowl, and that's like a $300,000 payout. So $1.2 million is a little better than
The
$300,000.
Potato Bowl. I remember that one.
A potato.
Was that the one where that ref had like that weird meltdown in
Yeah,
the
it
Aggies
was.
game?
Yep. Utah State versus Ohio. Yep.
The young man,
The young
and the football
whippersnapper.
player forgot the
He
ball.
slipped on an egg in the middle
If
of
you
the
guys can
field,
find
but
that,
then a
it's,
banana peel
it's the
tripped him. He went back
2011.
in, but then came back out.
2011 Idaho Potato Bowl, Utah State versus Ohio. Not Ohio State, Ohio.
The green team.
Yes,
Ohio Bobcats,
the Ohio
baby.
Bobcats. And it had a very controversial ending, so you guys can go and watch that one.
It's a good one.
Well, regardless, dude, 1.2 million richer, so that's never a bad thing.
I'm not $1.2 million richer, but
And it actually is.
Kyle Whittingham gets a sweet bonus. I'm
He
pretty sure.
does.
He
Like,
probably does.
I think he gets like 3/4 of a salary.
yeah, if he
Or
makes
something
a bowl,
crazy like that.
He has a lot of incentives like that tied into his contract.
Must be nice.
So anyway, hopefully they can show up and be a good game. Hopefully they get a win, and
Is Huntley still hurt?
Yeah, I don't know. He is currently, but I mean the game is 15 days away, so 14 to 8.
Yeah.
2
He's got
weeks
some
away.
time to.
So
That said, Williams
he
looked really good in that last game.
He did.
They may just give it to him. It's like
He's a senior. Yeah,
Yeah.
they may
he's
just
captain.
shut Huntley down and just give him
Not worth risking another injury.
What
I don't
year
know.
is Huntley?
sophomore.
Sophomore, so he's got 2 years left.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. It should be fun. So good way to cap the season off.
You gonna go?
No,
No.
I'm not gonna be able to attend this time.
Okay. Good to know. Funny story, guys. On the way to the Vegas Bowl one year, Dylan and our good friend Braden Morris were pulled over in my driveway for running a stop sign.
I wasn't pulled over because I wasn't driving.
Braden was pulled over.
Was that on the
I'm
way
just
to
saying-
Vegas?
Yeah.
You guys made it
No.
2 minutes
And
away?
actually,
No,
Well, you were coming
it
to
was
pick
in his
someone up from my
driveway.
house,
We were
yeah.
coming to pick someone up from your house, whatever it was. It
Yeah.
was something for Braden.
and then cop flashes you and you pull over in my driveway and I look over and there's flashing lights. I'm like, what is going on?
Did you
And
get a
I
ticket?
see-
Did he get a ticket?
Pulled over. In your
I'm
house?
just saying you guys, dude.
Okay, it was
relax.
all Braden. Okay.
That's fine.
And
You're in the car, so I'm
Yeah,
saying you
well,
guys.
anyway,
Let's just leave it at it. There have been multiple traffic
Yeah.
violations and or dangerous maneuvers that have happened in Brendan's neighborhood.
the
I speak to a lot
cop.
of them.
Yep. The cop said, "What are you guys doing?" And I said, "Oh, we're actually on our way to go to Las Vegas to go to the Utah bowl game."
And he was a Utah fan.
And he said, "Oh, well,
Okay.
go Utes." And then
He
he,
said, "Go Utes.
Have a good one."
Here's a reverse fine to help fund your trip.
Yeah, I said, "Here's $500."
Come and cash this in
That would've been-
afterwards. Yes.
That'd be a deal.
Speaking of Vegas, should we plug in real quick what happened last Thursday?
What happened Thursday?
Oh yeah. Speaking of Vegas, okay, here we are. We're at Charlie Wing Company. My man Kyle actually left
right.
a minute before this.
Minute before, dude.
Jackie was sleepy.
Jackie
Yeah.
was sleepy. It happens. Jackie gets sleepy often. So we're at Charlie Wing Co. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're like, "Yo, we have this raffle that's going on right now, and it's for a free 2-night stay in Las Vegas with $500 credits to like different things in Vegas." And we're like, "Whoa, wait, what? We didn't put our stuff in. We had a pretty good group there. Like we had like
7,
8
8
people there,
guys.
something like
Eight or
that.
nine
Eight
people.
or nine
Something
people
like
there."
that.
So we all get a raffle ticket, put it in, and before he announces it, we say, "Hey, if anybody wins this, the whole table is going to Vegas, and we're all just gonna bunk up in this room or whatever." And sure enough, my man at DB, not DB
Hey.
Cooper, Dylan Brown wins the whole thing, and we're going to Vegas, baby. March Madness, well, conference tournament.
Conference tournament
Really?
madness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So-
dude. You
conference tournament madness. It's perfect, dude. If you're a part of that group and you're a Mountain West Conference fan, you got it. If you're a Pac-12 conference
Did they
fan,
help pay for travel costs?
No, but they give you $500 in amenities, so you got to
Okay.
get yourself down there.
I
But
mean,
one-
gas isn't very.
Yeah,
I
no.
mean,
Once
split,
you're-
especially if you're splitting
I
it 13 ways,
Yeah,
and everybody's in one car.
exactly.
No, it's not gonna. It's
What
gonna be
hotel
cheap.
is it?
There's a list of them, but either the two ones that I would consider staying in are Circus, or Tropicana. All the other ones are like Old Vegas, like
I saw
Golden
on the
Nugget.
picture you sent me. I think I saw Lake Tahoe on there.
Lake Tahoe.
Can you just call an audible and go to Tahoe instead if you wanted to?
Totally
We can go to Mississippi as well.
Wow, for like a little riverboat gambling trip.
Yeah,
or what?
probably.
I'd be down to that. We go to Branson. That's Missouri, but we can go see a play in music.
I'm just saying that's an option.
It'd be
as
fun to
well.
go somewhere new with it, wouldn't it?
I've been to Missouri. I mean, I've been to Mississippi. So
I'm just saying somewhere new. I don't think it has to be Mississippi.
Mississippi. So anyway,
I'm scared of the South, so
yeah, it's a wild place.
Scare people down there.
I've seen Forrest Gump. Like, I'm just kidding.
That's all you need to know, man. Right there.
Bobby B.
And Dylan's been there.
I've been there. Okay, so Utah State, they got in.
Utah State is going to the Aggie Bowl.
You know what? I saw your tweet where you seemed to imply that they weren't gonna. Was there like a fear
there was
there?
a legitimate shot, dude. There are three 6-win teams, bowl eligible teams that didn't go. So there was a possibility that we couldn't have made it. And so Aggies are going to the Nova Home Loans Arizona Bowl.
Are you going to that one?
I would have. So here's the thing. Tucson is a little more difficult to get to because
Is it farther away than Phoenix?
think about it think about it like Salt Lake to like Logan.
Okay.
Like if you don't know the area and you're paying to get out there and stuff, it's a little more of a hassle, right? Especially if you have
It's
to
like
rent a
flying
car
and then renting a car.
Exactly, yeah. So like there are flights to Tucson, but they're usually more expensive. So flying to Phoenix would be cheaper. Anyways, I'm not going. My brother gets married the day after, anyways.
Ooh.
So that would be
There you go.
yeah. If there was a storm or anything, and I would potentially be late for it, like that'd be bad. So
Yeah, not worth it.
I'll probably watch this one from home. I wish I could go because it's in Tucson, and Tucson's like 75 degrees right now, and it'd be super nice, right? So, so it's also been dubbed the Aggie Bowl because we were playing the New Mexico State Aggies,
Ooh.
who are 6-6, and this is their first time they've been bowl eligible in 57 years.
Really?
57 years.
Are they in the Mountain West?
No, they
The
were.
East
They,
State.
they were in the WAC. They were in the old WAC.
The old WAC.
The old WAC. Now they're.
When New Mexico, the Lobos are in the. Were they in the Mountain West?
New
Lobos,
Mexico,
The Lobos are in the Mountain
Mountain
West.
West.
Yeah.
New Mexico.
We're playing
Okay.
Mexico State Aggies.
Goodness.
They're actually a little bit better at basketball. They actually have been known to have a few okay
I honestly didn't
basketball
know there were
teams.
two major-ish universities in
I don't know. I guess there are. I mean, Mexico's like neither of them are that big, but I think
I've
New
never
Mexico's a little bigger.
I've never
Yeah,
been
never
to New Mexico either. Yeah.
May have been to Four Corners though, so one of my
I guess.
appendages may have been to
Yeah,
New Mexico
I think I've
once.
been the same.
Well-
I think I've been the same. So that game is December 29th, 3:30 p.m. Mountain Time, Tucson, Arizona. Playing in the I don't know what's the place the Arizona Wildcats play in? Arizona Stadium. That's easy enough. That one's on CBS Sports. Should be pretty fun. Vegas is picking New Mexico State at the moment. 3.5 points is the spread.
Lay the
in their
points,
favor.
baby, and take Utah State. It's an easy cover.
ESPN's giving Utah State the edge, 63% chance to win that game in ESPN's matchup predictor. So I'm probably going to lean the side of ESPN just because I don't have the respect for New Mexico State Aggies just because they're smaller and they only won 6 games and they've been a bowl game in 57 years. But maybe they'll shut me up and I'll go on with
That's
my
a
bet
guess,
that.
though, dude. From Vegas, they've put 3.5 points, knowing that Utah State backers would take those points. So it's going to drop bet down to like even or -1 Utah State.
Yeah, probably.
So I mean,
You're probably
it's
right.
just to get the most money.
They actually have a pretty high-powered offense like that. I'm looking at it. Their quarterback has almost 4,000 yards throwing, 26 touchdowns. Their running back has almost 1,000 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns. Receiver has over 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. So actually, seems like they have a pretty high-powered offense, but Aggies are known for their takeaways and their defense. So should be an entertaining one at least. Hopefully my Aggies will come out victorious in that one. BYU did not make a bowl. They won 4 games. They would have had to win 2 more to even be bowl eligible, and even then they could have been one of the 3 out.
You know, 4 games, but that almost feels more generous than how the actual season went.
Yeah.
They got to play in Hawaii their last game. I mean, that's kind of like a bowl for the
That game
players.
was just embarrassing for Hawaii.
Yeah.
I can't even.
Bad. It's pretty bad. Well, oddly enough, Hawaii beat UMass, who BYU lost to.
Yeah.
And then
I did notice that.
we actually murdered her. We beat Hawaii like 38-0. That was like our first shutout.
They came over playing in the snow and all that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're practicing at East High School.
You know, what happened to Hawaii? I remember winning.
Colt Brennan, dude. Remember Colt Brennan?
I was going to say, I won $100 off of some kid in my, like, 8th grade, or 8th or 9th grade. I think it had to have been 9th grade. But it was someone who was pretending to be Colt. He was like, Colt Brennan, Colt Brennan, Colt Brennan. Just super hyped on Colt Brennan. And they were playing, like, it was, like, I think it was Georgia.
I remember that.
$100 on Georgia. That I was like, dude, Hawaii, like they're good, but like they're not.
They've gotten.
So I also saw
3 fans at that game, the BYU game.
They got absolutely embarrassed.
Hawaii's facilities are really, really bad. They're really, really bad. I saw this one thing. So I was actually looking up like Eastern Washington's field and Boise State's field, and looking up these different colleges.
The Fire of Inferno.
Yeah, with wild fields, and I came across this what if rainbow field for Hawaii because they're the Rainbow Warriors.
That would be sweet if they did that.
It actually would be kind of cool. Just because it gives you some variation, man. Like you try to look at.
It's a crazy stadium.
It actually be wild if you're like running and all of a sudden the floor just like is a totally different color than what it was before.
Yeah, they could. Even that would get like a couple extra recruits.
Dude, like Boise State has birds that dive bomb on the field.
I think it's a big water.
Look up Coastal Carolina Community College or Coastal Carolina.
Oh, it's purple, huh?
No, it's teal. Where our friend Bryce and Benton used to go there.
Yeah.
Play a little baseball down there. I don't think it's a community college. It's just CCCC, Coastal
There's just
Carolina
so many C's.
Community College. That'd be really funny.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, the teal field.
The teal. That's actually kind of cool, dude. I kind of like that.
That's kind of cool. It's not as harsh of a...
No, it's more subtle.
Dude, I was also thinking, like, if Aggies were to do, like, that dark navy blue that they use, and it's more of, like, a matte, I think that would be better, a lot better,
But that gets super hot in the
sun.
Boise State's is just so, like...
It's
blue.
It's
hard to watch on TV.
It is.
As soon as it comes on,
it's so hard to look at.
Remember when they first started getting national coverage? Like, when they started getting good, people were like, what is this
Oh, my
field?
gosh.
Dude, there's
it.
one it's like Eastern Michigan something, and they have a gray field. What do you think about like a lighter gray? Like a lighter gray for Utah State.
Your secondary color is the color of the field.
Like what about a lighter gray and then like the dark blue end zones for Utah State? That'd be cool.
Honestly, like
I wouldn't like that as much as just a straight up green. To be honest,
yeah, I'm a fan of the green. But if the U went like red, that would be the equivalent of Boise State. It's like theirs is that.
That'd be too much.
I think Boise State is too much.
Have you seen the Eastern Washington one?
Isn't it like maroon?
No, it's bright red.
It's bright
is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's just absurd.
That's just an eyesore. Like that takes.
How do you even watch that on TV?
That's brutal, man. Look at that. Look how hard that would be to watch that.
They're wearing red too. That's
I know.
Ridiculous.
Boise State does that. Boise State wears their all blues.
I think that's just cheating. Well, I mean, it hurts I don't know.
The Mountain West like outlawed it for in conference games for a few years, and then they got rid of it, so they can do it now all the time. They can do it whenever they want at home. It's kind of annoying, but anyways, back to BYU. I think they make a bowl game again next year. I don't think it'll be pretty. I think they'll eke out like 6 wins probably because they still have a pretty tough schedule next year.
And they got rid of Detmer, huh?
So they did. And a consequence to getting rid of Detmer is his nephew, who was committed to BYU, decommitted. No.
Oh.
This guy's name nephew? Is Zadok Dinkelman.
Wow. What position was
QB,
he?
dude.
Was he supposed to be good?
I don't know.
So who's
He's like a 3 or 4 star.
Just another nephew?
Yeah, I guess.
Wait, nephew's this
Dinkelman's taking his talents elsewhere.
Yeah, he's taking his talents elsewhere. But I'm just saying, like, if I was on a defense, I would not. I don't care how good the guy is. I would not be scared of the opposing quarterback if his last name was Dinkelman.
Yeah,
there's just like
is that on the? Oh, is it Dinkelberg?
No, Dinkelberg's on Fairly Odd Parents, but Dusty Dinkelman on Just Friends.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a kicker out there. His last name is Blewett.
That's right.
Yeah.
Who's actually pretty good.
He's actually
good. Got like multiple game-winning kicks under his belt.
The Chiefs kicker's last name is Butker or something. I think it's Butker. I've just been calling him Buttkiss.
Or Butthurt.
Yeah. Or
something. That's funny.
Something of the sort.
This was a rock bottom year for BYU. They had problems on and off the field. Remind me of the guy's name who got like basically kicked off right before the season started. Francis Bernard.
Yeah.
The whole Francis Bernard deal. And now...
Is it like an honor code thing?
So, yeah, something like that. And now he like, wanted to transfer and everything. So said he wanted to transfer to Utah and all this stuff. And then they just had another guy, Butch Puau or Pau or...
Butch Pau, yeah.
Butch Pau. There were some reports of him saying he was requesting a transfer too. So basically, their best linebackers are wanting out or having problems off the field, stuff like that. So really, rock bottom year on and off the field for BYU. But I expect them to eke out a few more games, show a little bit more promise next year. Probably hit those 6 wins, kind of be right around where Utah State and Utah are this year, and then hopefully a few game improvement on Utah State and Utah.
This is Sataki's? Was that his second year?
This is his second year, yeah.
So in theory, he may have some recruits that may be coming home from like missions or something.
Maybe this year, yeah, definitely the year after. So if he makes some improvement this year, he'll be fine. If he wins 6 games, he'll be fine.
But if he doesn't, he's gone.
And then the year,
you think he 2 years max, right?
Oh, he's fired. He's fired if he doesn't get to a bowl game next year.
Because definitely 2 seasons from now, he's gonna have his guys. He's gonna have time to find his coordinators. His recruits are gonna be there playing like.
Because this season wasn't just like a disappointing season. This was like one of the worst seasons BYU's ever had.
Bottom.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think they shot themselves in the foot with their schedule. I think if they didn't schedule the way they did,
they stacked all those.
I think they would have had the morale and that they would have found the skill to be able to beat UMass and ECU or the Pirates, ECU. Teams like that. I think they would have found a way to win those games. It's just, I don't know, they don't have any business losing.
You're right, though. It was just demoralizing completely. Like, their stadium is just empty towards the end of the year. Of like, even homecoming, I saw pictures from homecoming, and it was just like nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Just crazy.
So, let's talk college football playoff a little bit here. We're looking at Bama, Clemson, Oklahoma, and who am I missing?
Ohio State did not get
Ohio State didn't get
Who did you say?
Did you say Auburn?
I did not say Auburn. So Bama, Auburn, Clemson, and Oklahoma.
No, it's not Auburn. It's Georgia.
It's Georgia. You're
That's right. Auburn didn't get it.
Auburn.
Because they got smoked in the SEC championship.
That's right. Yep.
I forgot about that. I was out of town this week and I missed.
They did get they got a butt kicking.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's what we're looking at there. So it should be a fun, entertaining bowl season. You remember that one year where we watched we just watched so many bowl games,
powered through,
and every one of them was just insane.
Yeah, that was the year of the alcoholic kid. What was his name? The Texas Tech? Went to the NFL. A lot of problems.
Johnny Manziel.
Texas
A&M.
Yeah,
A&M.
Johnny Football, dude.
Yeah, that was that year. He had that play where he.
Did I just slander him? I thought he had some alcohol.
He did.
He's out of the
NFL.
He's had a lot of problems. Yeah.
I just remember him like that one play. He was just running around for like a minute and a half, I think, and then he's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna throw the ball like 50 yards now. Game over. They won."
He was NCAA's Russell Wilson, who never made it in the NFL.
Poor man's Russell Wilson.
Hey, guys, breaking news. This just in. Our man, K. Beans Kessler Bear is in the building.
Swoop! What's up, guys?
What's up, K. Beans?
Hey.
I snuck in and caused a bit of a ruckus.
It's all good. It happens. Make the dogs go a little wild.
Boys, I need you to stop the ruckus.
Just making an entrance.
A lot of ruckus over there.
Anyway, so K.
What's up,
Beans,
guys?
Kessler Berry, Heber Creeper Berry Beans is in the building here, so awesome to have him
What's up,
here.
team?
So,
The college football playoff, though, I'm just,
dude,
It needs to be 8 teams.
yes. Let me.
It needs to be 8 teams. It can't not be 8 teams anymore.
8 teams. 1 bid for each P5, 2 bids for the G5, and 1 at large.
So every P5, every power conference will get 1. Do you think?
No, well, if you just put the 5 conference champions plus 3 at large, they'll fill those with every group of 5 team. That large.
Will they though, or will they say, "Oh, look, because there's 3 SEC teams after that we want to fill with"? I think they need to actually allocate 2 to the G5 because, dude, teams like UCF and Memphis and like the Boise State, San Diego States, Fresno States, when they're good, and they need a shot at it. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna I'm saying strictly this year. UCF will get demolished by all 4 of those teams that are in the playoff right now. I don't think it'd even be close.
We don't know though.
You could say, that's the problem. You could say that, but we don't know.
But
I just want to see them prove their work.
I really want to see.
I don't know if Alabama would demolish them this year. Straight up, I don't know.
I think Alabama is going to run through this playoff.
Dude,
I really don't think so.
People said this about Boise State. People said this about
Utah back in the day.
I understand, but I'm just saying,
like give these teams their chance, man.
I want to see, really though, I really do want to see what they say with the college football playoff. I want to see the best 4 teams that we know have played the toughest schedule and we know that they're like a top 4 quality. Like if UCF would have played a couple tougher teams, I'd be all, and they won, I'd be all for them.
They didn't have a P5
but
win.
I want to see that, but at the same time, I want to know that the 4 best teams are in, and that's why I don't have a problem with.
Did Wisconsin not get in?
No. And they lost. They
lost to Ohio State. Yeah,
they did
because they had a weaker schedule. The committee decided.
You know why that is? Because they're out of conference schedule. You know who they played? Utah State and BYU, and they murdered both of us.
Okay, but so I mean, people were saying, "Oh, Ohio State, they just won the Big Ten, they're in," and I was like, no way. Oh, Alabama's in for sure. It wasn't even a doubt in my mind. They jumped Ohio State, and I don't know about
because if Wisconsin went undefeated.
Yeah, if Wisconsin was going undefeated, you couldn't leave them out. Yeah. It would be impossible. Yeah. Because they did go through the Big Ten, which is a tough conference, but their side of the conference was really weak this year, weaker than the other side.
Anyways, that would be my setup. Each conference, each P5 gets their own.
I like that.
Just a conference
I just hate the not knowing.
Two to the G5 because dude, the little guys got to have a chance every year. Especially
it's an anomaly for a UCF. I mean,
it really
I get
is.
They don't have a really hard schedule, but when a team like that goes undefeated,
dude, I watched.
I just want to have a shot.
When I was watching them play USF, who was 9-1, and over there, those are the 2 best teams in Florida this year. And we're talking about a state that has Florida State and Florida in it, and we're saying UCF and USF are the best
teams. That game was crazy.
Oh, Miami too, yeah.
Turnover chain.
Jeez, dude, they have so many big time programs. That's wild, man.
Miami's been a stinker forever since the 80s and 90s. So I guess they.
No, it was early 2000s, wasn't it?
They won a championship in 03, but
you see, few and far between.
Right? They've been horrible since the 80s, besides when they won the title in 03.
But that's really the thing. They
had
a
couple
of
against them or something.
Oh
right?
yeah, they got.
That was what happened.
Dude, if an underdog makes it past the first round in an 18 playoff, do you know how many people are going to watch that and root for the underdog, and how much good publicity and TV that's going to generate?
I just want it to be like college basketball. I want the opportunity to root for an underdog against a good team.
Dude, the fact that today UVU and Weber could make the tournament every single year is insane. Yeah. It's insane because that never used to be the case, dude. It was the big 3 in the state, only the big 3 in the state, and no one else. UVU and Weber almost are more guaranteed in the last couple of years.
They almost beat Kentucky or whoever was the other day.
Yeah. So
back in the day, the Big Sky or whatever did have one automatic bid to the winner, but I think it's still like that, isn't it?
I don't know.
The Big Sky gets the Big Sky champion automatically gets in.
I think so. Yeah, I think
but it's gonna be a 12 or lower seed.
Yeah.
Which is stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But 8 teams would be perfect because for me as a Utah fan, I have zero expectations that Utah will ever go to the college football playoff, even though they're in a Power 5 conference. It would take a miracle year. It'd take Utah running the table and losing one.
Would take.
An 18 playoff.
Kyle Whittingham.
Yeah, we can talk about that. That's
what
I'm all on that. That if we talked about that though, this thing would be 3 hours long.
I know. The thing is though, he's great for these exact same seasons we've had for the last 10 years.
He's good for
good stuff.
7
if that's what you like.
7 to 10 wins. I will say this though.
I would love that level of consistency.
No, you
honestly,
I would absolutely love that level of consistency.
But they're one of the only teams that hasn't won
the Pac-12.
Yeah.
They haven't won the Pac-12 South, the only team.
The only team.
Okay, I'm just going to say this really quick. Every Utah fan that is opposed to ever even thinking about parting ways with Kyle Whittingham, here's what they tell me. Who are we going to get that's better? Okay? We can't get anybody that's better. And why are you selling the program so short? Like, I'm pretty sure that's probably what people were saying
funny, dude.
when Ron McBride was the coach. Who can we get that's better?
Yeah,
who are we going to get that's better? Well, they finally parted ways, and then they got Urban Meyer. Yeah, it was short-lived. It was 2 years, but still.
I think that's one of the biggest fallacies is that there's not up-and-coming coaches who are better than who we have. Like, there's not just this – I get that there's, like, this weird, like, hierarchy and, like, high priest group of, like, these coaches that are, like, seen as the elite college coaches or NFL coaches who are available to pick from, and there's a limited amount of those people. But who's going to replace those people? It's going to be people who are better at coaching than those mid-range.
You got to think any coordinator of any equivalent university is going to be willing to come out and interview for a head coaching job.
Yeah, exactly.
And any successful FCS coach is going to want to. Isn't the North Dakota State guy? Isn't he Wyoming's head coach now?
He's Wyoming, and he's turned them into
he's turned
consistency.
Them around.
At least.
Really,
so I mean,
done really well.
Like. That's just not a valid argument for me. And like what I've seen from Utah in specific, I can tell you exactly, like, over these past 5 seasons, I can tell you exactly how the game is going to be played out. I can, like, me and Gentry going to the games this season, we were like calling out like plays before it was happening. Like I was like, oh, it's this situation. It's 3rd and 4. It's going to be a QB draw. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. And it's just like sometimes. Like you've just like tapped out like everything you can get out of something or someone, and it's just like time for a refresh.
Yeah.
So I mean that's where I'm at. A lot of Utah fans
knowing that it could take a couple of worse years.
I honestly,
and it's a risky move.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with them going backwards a few years if in the long run it's going to push them to a Rose Bowl.
But in the moment, would you say you pull the BYU right now? What if that's what's happening to BYU right now? Right?
No, I think it would be like Quinn. I think that would suck. That's the thing. Is like
that's what they did. This is exactly what they did. They shook it up. They had Mendenhall. He was good for 8 to 10 wins every
season. There are more variables at
left.
play, though.
He left.
That's true.
BYU didn't push him out.
There was like a mutual parting of ways.
There was a mutual parting of ways. But with BYU, there are other variables at play where there's like just like no answers. There's no like definitive like, okay, independence was the right move. There's no like, would we be better if we were able to be in a conference? There's just too many questions there. Like if Utah got a new coach, it would be like when the Jazz got rid of Tyrone. Except Tyrone way worse for the Jazz than Whittingham is for the Utes. That said, like Snyder's first couple years, not good.
I love Quinn Snyder.
I absolutely with all my time and soul. It was brutal. His first like year and a half. We knew we weren't going to make the playoff still, but we were seeing our team change in a way that we knew we were going to be good eventually. Yep. So that's how
we had nowhere to go but up at those times too.
Okay.
So. Let's talk a little NFL really quickly. Dylan, you even wanna?
I'll tell you this. I just have a couple things to say.
Dill's Broncos.
It's
really good this year.
Really worth mentioning, but
got pretty blown out by the Dolphins.
They got beat down by
How many games in a row have they lost?
So they got beat down by Smoke and Jay Cutler and the Miami Dolphins. And that's embarrassing.
I'm sorry, man.
Okay, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's better for them to lose now, and I've accepted that. They need to lose the rest of their games to get the best draft pick.
It's true. There's no point on winning out your games.
There's not. There's 0 point. Yeah, they need to lose, and I understand that. But still, when I tune in,
you guys remember that? You guys remember that Jazz game where if we had lost the last game of the season, we would have had like
15% more chance
better to get the number 1 overall pick or whatever. And we were like fighting. We were grinding that thing out, and like Alec Burks was going off, and we were like, "No, what are you guys doing?"
Alec has a career night.
I know, dude. We're like, we just need to lose this one game. Like,
yeah, that's right.
I'm
still happy with where we ended up, though.
Yeah. So it's just disheartening to me because like there is a standard for the Denver Broncos, and it's like not being met. I'm okay with if a rough season happens. Like that happens to every franchise seemingly besides the Patriots for 20 years. I don't know how they have sustained it. It's honestly one of the greatest feats in like modern sports history, the way they've been able to like sustain themselves. Belichick and Brady. Yep. But I can't have like this level of ineptitude. Like I can't accept this level of ineptitude. The Denver Broncos punt returner, who's already muffed 5 punts this year, tried to catch a punt in the end zone, and he muffed it in the end zone.
Dude, you got to put Sharp back there again.
He tried to catch a ball, a fair catch, a punt in the end zone. And he muffed
wouldn't
it.
that just be a touchback?
It'd be exactly. So what are
just,
you doing?
So just get out of the way. If it hits
Just
the end
leave.
Zone,
What are you doing? The ball was 10 yards in the end zone.
He dropped it?
He dropped it, but he was trying to fair catch the end zone. What are you doing?
Did they recover it?
He recovered it for a safety.
What year was that?
Wait, why was it a safety?
How did it go out?
Because he caught and the ball went down, and he was trying to scramble
was he,
for it.
Barely outside of the end zone?
And
then went back
he
into
pushed
the
it
end zone?
out the back of the end zone to get rid of it.
And that was a safety?
It was a safety.
So when he tried when he almost made contact with the ball, he was outside.
He was back in the end zone, and he came up to get it. The ball was going to land on the white part of the end zone, the front part of the end zone.
Got it.
Okay, so saying it was 10 yards deep.
He was 10 yards deep in the end zone and came up to get it, but still, his heels were in the end zone.
All right.
And so...
And then he muffed it.
He muffed it and then recovered it, and it was a safety.
So where he muffed it, he was just outside.
He was just outside of the end zone.
Must have gone behind him somehow.
And that I can't accept that in the NFL. These are professional athletes. This is like a professional sports league. That can't happen. They have 15 penalties a game, same exact penalties. I'm gonna highlight one more little play here, and then we can move on because this is such a disaster. Denver actually got a pick six. It was their only points of the game other than a field goal, so the offense didn't even score. It was a field goal and a pick six. And after the pick six, a Dolphins player got an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, which moved the kickoff to the 50-yard line. Denver was down 17, 18 points, so hey, this is a good chance to try an onside kick. If we don't get it, they're at the 40. They're 40, so it's not horrible for us. It's not great for us, but it's a risk worth taking. Well, Denver gets a delay of game penalty on the kickoff.
Yeah.
So moves them back 5 yards.
Not like an offside?
No, it's a delay of game.
How do you get a delay of game on kickoff?
Yeah, I don't know. Exactly. You tell me.
I think there was a play call.
Yeah, there's a play clock going. It was taken down. And Brandon McManus was just holding the ball as the play clock was going 9, 8, 7, 6. He was looking over at the sideline, and the coaches were just like, it's all good, dude.
Big thumbs up.
Big old thumbs up. Everyone's like, oh,
so it had to go
good.
15 yards then?
No, it just moved the ball back. It had to go 10 yards. They just moved the ball back 5 yards, but it was just stupid. They tried it and didn't get it. Okay. And then after in the press conference, they're asking head coach Vance Joseph what happened, and he says this. I'll put this up to the mic and let you guys hear this ridiculous answer here. So let me make sure we're good here.
Onside kick. You got a delay of game penalty as you were lining up for the kickoff.
On an onside kick?
Yeah.
On ours?
You were trying to onside kick.
Right. It was from the 50-yard line.
Yes. But you took a delay of game penalty before then?
I don't think we did. Did we? Did we really? Yeah. I don't recall that. I know we had the look we wanted. It was a personal foul on those guys with 15 yards to push us back. Kick from the 50, so we went for the onside there.
He didn't even know?
Didn't know that you got a penalty? I don't know if he was just saying that because he was embarrassed.
You should have held on to that for your funny story of the week.
Oh, I got a better funny story. It's like this.
Oh, my word.
But you can't have a head coach doing that. You can't have a head coach doing that. And so they're not going to fire him until the end of the season. They are going to fire him. All signs are pointing that way.
How long has he been the coach?
12 games, 9, 10 games, 11 games. But he just can't. He might be a good coach in the future, but he's just not ready to handle the pressures of an NFL head coaching job. He was the Dolphins defensive coordinator for one season. And then before that, he just held scouting jobs and stuff like that. So he's been around football, but really he's held one defensive coordinator job and one head coaching job, and it's just too much for him. And it's making me sick. And every time they show his face, it just infuriates me. If I have to see this buck-toothed jackass coach one more game, I'm gonna put my fist in my TV. This is one more thing. After he left the podium, one of the media members said, he didn't really whisper it, he just said it to himself, "Dilly dilly to the pit of misery," and the media members started laughing. So when you have the freaking media members in your city laughing at you because you've done such a bad job, it's time. Yeah, it's time. when they're cracking Bud Light jokes at you, it's time to just clean house.
Throw in the towel.
So, again, the Chargers are going to win that AFC West because
That's wild.
the Chiefs have absolutely.
I'm into that. I'm good. I'm
The Chiefs have absolutely
Chargers are doing
imploded.
I kind of am too. I don't know why. I said this last week.
because what's his face is an
Phillip
endearing.
Rivers, dude.
Yeah, he's been in with the same crappy team forever. He's
I got
freaking
Dylan to
dolts.
admit that if he had to choose anybody in the current slate, if it's not going to be the Broncos to win the NFC or
AFC
AFC
Chargers.
It's just because they're the
Maybe the
little brother.
Chargers.
They're just.
I do feel bad. I mean, it wasn't the players' fault they got moved, but Phillip Rivers has like 9 kids or something crazy like that.
He's
He didn't move to LA. Still has his house in San Diego, and he has some weird SUV that's like a moving movie theater that he sits in there and watches film
really
and gets
Yeah.
driven
On
back
the
and
way
forth.
to-
Yeah,
Huh.
it's crazy.
Cool,
It's like it looks like a weird like Ford Excursion, and it's like a big old lazy boy chair for
That's
Phillip
dope.
Rivers.
That's freaking sick.
I
It's pretty tight,
will
actually.
admit this, and this is the only thing that I'll ever say good, is that I respect Phillip Rivers as the competitor.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he's been a royal jackass for a long time. Just watching Denver and
I like
the
it.
Chargers go
Looks
back
like
and
we're going to
forth.
have another little red E explicit next to this podcast,
Yeah.
guys. That's 10 in a row
10
for that
10
jackass
really?
right there.
Drop a jackass.
That's 10
So-
straight. We've yet to make
Do
it.
you have to mark it, or how do you
Yeah,
They review it.
they review it.
and
Yeah,
if it
we've
is,
yet to
they'll
make
put
it.
me on there.
We're 10 straight now.
Just
with
someone,
with a
an
red
actual
E.
human listens to it.
Yeah. From
We've-
iTunes. That's somebody's job.
That's kind of
We've
cool.
yet
Let's
to-
go listen to
we've
every
yet to-
single podcast.
We've yet to get out clean, dude.
That's
So-
That's some garbage.
Hey, yeah, there it is. Well, people they screen him because like a long time ago when podcasting was first getting started in iTunes, somebody tried to like record like a snuff film of like a murder and like submit it.
No way.
It went onto iTunes
Jeez, dude.
for like a day or something,
That's
and Tustin was like,
That'll force a company to get a QA process.
exactly. So
Yeah.
that's why they do it. Anyway, we can move on from Denver. They're going to have a top 5 draft pick. This season's over. They're going to clean house at the end of the season and get rid of the coaching staff.
Hooray.
They're going to get a new coach in there, and they better draft well with their draft picks, or the same thing's going to happen next year. So
Let's
we'll see what happens.
let's swing up to the Pacific Northwest. How about Seahawks had a huge win. Beat the best team in the NFL Sunday Night Football last Sunday against the Eagles. Eagles are the hottest team in football. They were the only one-loss team left out there. Now they have 2. So Seahawks won that one 24-10. They really played well in all facets of the game. Defense was stout, held the Eagles, high-powered Eagles offense to 10 points. Let me tell you what the last Eagles points were before this game. 31 points against the Bears, 37 against the Cowboys, 51 against the Broncos, 33 against the 49ers, 34 against the Redskins, 28 against the Panthers, 34 against the Cardinals, 26, 27, 27, and 30. Okay, so they have literally not scored under 26 points. Seattle's defense held them to a banged-up Seattle's defense held them to 10 points. So I was really, really happy, obviously.
So this kind of goes back to my point I was making last week, and I said Seattle is about as close as it gets to the playoff atmosphere in the regular season. How did Carson Wentz handle it? Not his best game.
Definitely not his best game. Wasn't his best game. I got to give some credit for us putting pressure on him too. But I mean,
it's on Seattle too. But
it
I'm
takes
saying,
a good quarterback's got to be able to
yeah.
a playoff
Do you think
Super Bowl caliber quarterback.
Would the game have? I'm not saying the Seahawks lose, but would the game have been a little different if it was in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, if that's how he performed in Seattle, he needs to strap it up before those playoffs start. Or it's gonna smack him in the face.
So
how intense it is.
The Seahawks were, before this week, they were actually on the outside looking in. They were in the hunt for a playoff spot. With the Falcons losing and then us winning, we're actually in the top wild card slot at the moment. We're one game, behind the Rams. And looking into next week, Philadelphia plays the Rams. Okay, so we need the Eagles to beat the Rams.
Can you play LA one more time?
The week after that, we play LA in Seattle. So
things are looking good.
If the Rams will lose to Philly, hopefully, which is not set in stone. The Rams are really good this year. They're 9-3, and they're leading the NFC West right now. They're in right now, right? But if Philly can pull that game off, and then if we can beat them after that, then we'll be in the driver's seat for the NFC West.
I bet that happens.
I hope it does. I really do. We have to get past the Jaguars this week first, who are also very dangerous. They're 8-4. Their defense is really good. Their offense is super potent. Like, they're good. When Blake Bortles is on, he's on. When he's off, he's off.
And he's always off.
See, since I don't follow NFL super closely, so how I feel about all these teams is like some sort of like mystical, stereotypical view. So like in my mind, Jaguars suck. The Rams have sucked since Kurt Warner. Yeah. So like all of this season has been historically, in my mind, incredibly weird. Like the Eagles are good out of nowhere.
The Eagles are way good.
Like if you told me the Eagles were good this year, I would have thought Donovan McNabb got like resurrected. He's probably
early 2000s.
He got some Campbell's soup.
Andy Reid's back there.
Wait, was he a Campbell's soup guy?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He got some Campbell's soup. Him and his mom. His mama was always serving it up. She's back.
Got some Campbell's soup. Got some essential oils. And that's what
doTERRA
he got
saved
some
doTERRA.
No, this year has been freaking weird.
Couple last things I want to say about the Seahawks. Russell Wilson is one of the leading candidates for MVP at the moment, which is really, really cool.
He's leading like every he's scoring.
Dude, he accounts for like
97% of Seattle's offense.
He accounts for or 92 or something like that percent of Seattle's offense.
Is he your leading
He's
rusher?
the leading rusher and passer, obviously. Dude, there are all these little stats that have come out, but he's in their first 6 years, he's one of top 4 for touchdown passes, and now he's leading. He's leading the league for touchdown, he's tied. I can't remember what it was. He's tied for NFL history most touchdown passes in the fourth quarter. So he's tied for that this season. So he's got
a good time to be scoring touchdowns.
4 games left still.
That's the best time.
So he's putting on a clinic, man. It's just fun to watch him. I mean, even if I don't know, maybe I'm super biased here and I'm just being a homer, but even if you weren't a big Seahawks fan and you're watching that Sunday night game, that must have been pretty entertaining, right?
I didn't watch it, but yes.
Nobody watched it?
It was all right.
I was traveling.
Right. Okay.
Well, Dylan is never going to miss Seattle.
Just watching. Yeah, I know it's true.
I
was watching
I've
more
seen
for
enough
rants.
Seattle sports games, Sounders, Seahawks. When Seattle teams are doing well, it's fun to watch. It really is.
I was watching.
Unless you're the team on the other end.
I was watching the game more to see what Wentz would do.
Yeah.
And it confirmed to me what he was going to do.
Wilson was putting on a clinic, man. It's the poise he has while rolling out of the pocket is insane. And then last point is my boy Bobby Wagner is also one of the leading candidates for Defensive Player of the Year. He's second in total tackles. He led the NFL in total tackles last year. He's leading every linebacker in just about every single statistic. He's first out of all linebackers in almost every main linebacker stat you would throw out there. So I'm a little happy right now. I'm still peeved about a couple of games that I thought we should have won. Falcons we lost by 3. Redskins we lost by 3. Both of those at home. I really think we could have pulled one of those off, and we would be in the driver's seat for the NFC West right now, not the Rams. So.
We still have a chance to win it. So
we do, and I do think playoffs are in store, at least for us. I don't know.
But once you get in the playoffs, anything can happen now.
Yep.
I get so frustrated with missed opportunity, and I just see those two as big missed opportunities. If we didn't have to play a wild card game, how much better would that be? With how dinged up we are right now, all the injuries we have and everything going on, to have that extra week.
But you still have the opportunity in front of you to win the division.
You're right. We do. We do. But
it's not like it's over.
We could be in a better spot right now than we are. But
are either Sherman or Chancellor coming back this year?
Both done.
That's why I thought Wentz was going to go off that game.
Both done. People filled in pretty well. In fact, the one drive that Wentz put together, the one touchdown drive they had, both deep balls were on Byron Maxwell, who's a little bit older of a corner. He's filling in for Seahawks. Brought him back. Actually, he was on our Super Bowl team. He is. I'm not sure where he's been for the last few years, but
he's just been bouncing around. He was on the Eagles.
Oh, really? Was he? So we brought him back actually when Sherman went down, and we've got McDougald and a couple others now. Actually, one of our brightest spots is rookie corner Shaquille Griffin. He almost kind of looks like Sherman. He's a little shorter, but he's got dreads and everything. And he's number 26, and Sherman's 25. So it takes you a second to like be like, oh, that's not Sherman. But he actually played for that UCF team last year that they didn't win a single game, right? They went from 0-12 to 12-0 in 1 year, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
His little brother, Shaquem Griffin, also with dreads, looks about the same.
Going
as
to the Seahawks as well, hopefully.
Well, here's the kicker. It'd be cool. I don't know, but here's the kicker: is he plays for UCF right now.
Yeah.
He was a senior. Dude is missing one hand.
Yeah,
he's missing a hand.
What position does he play?
Linebacker, and he killed it. Like super props to him.
I can
And
see
like
that.
I'm sure he doesn't want to be known as like the guy who's missing one hand.
But
that
you're
does
going to
really
be
well,
known
but,
as
like,
the
he
guy.
just, yeah, it's just like.
But it's not. I mean,
Jason Pierre-Paul blew 3 of his fingers off, and now that's all he's known for, is playing with 2 fingers and a thumb.
So I know this guy was really, really good, but go and look up Shaquem Griffin.
he straight up doesn't have a hand.
It's wild, dude. Straight up doesn't have a hand. Like, good for him, man. He like to be a linebacker, and
Yeah. That's.
we're looking. We're coasting through Google Images right now. It's pretty wild. But
So
anyways, see, there he is featuring his nub. So he's clearly proud of it.
featuring his nub.
Here, there you go.
Hey,
Hey.
Yeah.
hey, man, you playing Division I college football. All right, well, we're gonna have to cut that out.
Definitely getting explicit now.
Yeah.
Cut that one out.
Yeah, we should start like a blooper reel, shouldn't we?
There you go. Here's your clap.
Okay, let's do contender.
Okay,
Contender.
let's go. You know what, man? I'll start flying through the list.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you a stereotypical view based on my limited knowledge of the NFL.
Okay.
Perfect.
Let's start off hot, dude. New England Patriots.
Contender.
Bills.
Pretender.
That's
They
Buffalo.
don't even deserve to be in the.
Yeah, I know they're 6-6 now. I gotta start bringing them up. Steelers.
Super Bowl favorites.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Baltimore Ravens 7-5. I'll give them.
Contender.
Okay.
They're real.
Just experience. Is Joe Flacco elite?
Also saw you going after Ray Lewis on Twitter today. That was pretty good. It was a good tweet.
I didn't see
Every time I get a chance to go after Ray Lewis, I can.
His son played at Utah State for a year, and then
You guys know the whole
He went
thing
back to
about
Maryland.
how he
killed a guy.
killed
he
him.
basically.
Yeah.
He was criticizing Gronk's hit, and Dylan was like, "Oh man, it was almost like Gronk killed a guy or
It's
something."
like it's a killer take. It's like almost like
killer take.
it's
Ray.
almost like he murdered a guy.
You know who's gonna love this part of this segment is Joe Barriolo. Absolutely hates Ray Lewis. In fact, when Ray Lewis was all around Logan, he went to like the North Walmart with his son to like go the initial college shopping. You know,
Right.
Walmart.
Yeah, they didn't go to like Smith's or Lee's or anything. He went to Walmart.
Why wouldn't you just have everything imported like from Persia? That's what I'd be like, Dad, you're such a cheap
Anyways,
ass.
we could see him. We spotted him up.
Paying
In
his
the,
legal fee.
Yeah.
we spotted him
True.
up in the box. And I was like, there he is. And Joe, like, I just saw Joe like change. His demeanor
Freaked out.
changed, dude. He was pissed. Like he just did not want to be in the same.
So his son
area.
only played a year and then was gone?
Yeah,
Did
he
he
took
play?
off back to Maryland. Yeah, we played him.
Was he good?
He got
He
some
was
playing
good.
time. He was quick. He was quick, but not as fast as he should have been, given his size. You'd think he'd be like real speedy, but he actually was. He got chased down by like a linebacker once. And he
So
was super.
I'll happily take a subtle shot at Ray Lewis on Twitter if I ever saw him in real life. I'd be
Just
running
run
for
away.
the hills.
Just worried
I mean,
he's
he
gonna
killed the guy,
shoot you.
so-
Yeah, well, he killed the guy. So. Cleveland Browns 0-12.
Hey,
Contenders.
contenders in 2020, baby.
Shout out to Alec, biggest Cleveland Browns fan I know. Once you got a helmet Christmas present once.
That's the start of
Hasn't
it.
looked
Yeah,
back
ever.
since. Hasn't watched the game since or ever, but really big Browns fan.
Yeah.
Big.
So I have a surprise in store for the Christmas party. I don't know how often Alec listens to this. I want to tell you guys, but
No, I gotta keep the secret just in case.
I'll tell you off air.
All right,
This
sounds
is
good.
pretty fun.
Titans 8-4.
Pretender.
Jacksonville Jaguars 8-4.
Pretender.
Who's gonna win that division out of them two?
Jacksonville.
Okay. Okay. Well, since one of them's gonna make it in, why don't I just go down the list? Chiefs, Chargers, or Raiders.
Chargers. I'm
Chargers
telling
for
you.
me.
So they're gonna get into. They're not even gonna have to play a wild card.
Nope.
They're
They're
gonna be
gonna
like-
they're gonna get into the playoffs
They're gonna be
after
like
starting
8-8.
0-4.
They're
They're
gonna be
gonna
like
go
8-8.
9-7. That's how bad that
Dude.
division is. So bad.
Oh,
Into
man.
that.
All right. Eagles.
Contender.
Definitely.
Vikings.
Honestly, feeling like my NFC favorite right now. Contender. I just am like, I don't know, but they just keep on ripping off huge wins.
Saints.
They're contender with
9-3.
Drew. With
Good
Breeze, little
quarterback
boy
play.
back there. Great quarterback play.
Yeah, good quarterback play. That is
Outstanding.
That's the theme of this podcast is good or poor quarterback play. Carolina Panthers 8-4. Shout out Jackie.
Yeah. She doesn't
Oh,
have Cam this year on her fantasy team. So
I just
it's
can't.
walking.
I guess I've been saying pretender, but they keep proving me wrong and winning, so I'll say contender.
Okay. How about the Falcons 7-5?
That's a tough one, dude. Man, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt because they have the experience of last year, but at the same time, they haven't looked amazing. They've looked like okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll say contender one more week.
LA Rams.
Contender.
Seattle Seahawks.
Contender.
All right. There you have it. DB's latest. Okay, let's go NBA. Jazz. They had a 6-game winning streak until the other night. They lost to OKC in a game where they just ran out of gas. You could tell.
Yeah,
Fourth quarter, they
it
were
was
dead.
it was all right.
We had a pretty big lead in the third quarter,
Dude,
which was disappointing.
6 straight games the Jazz won. That's pretty awesome.
Especially considering Dyllon was on the full tank train like 3 weeks ago.
It absolutely was.
And now we've totally
I'm not
flip-flopped.
denying
So
that at
I was
all.
with him too, dude. I was like,
I know.
I can't handle this.
So, here's the thing, and I go back and forth because it's so hard not to fall into this. But like, I don't want every game or 2 games to mean have existential meaning like either way. Like, I don't want a big loss to mean like, all right, we're done, and I don't want a big win to be like, we're good forever now.
So,
And it's so easy to get into that.
but 6 straight big wins.
But when you go on streaks where you see, like straight up we weren't just winning.
we were
We were
demolishing
murdering
teams.
teams.
We beat a professional basketball team by 47 points.
I know. It's like, so yeah, that's like when you're like, okay, there's something actually like special about this team.
So Bradley Beal had like 6 points that
Yeah,
night.
51
and then
last
50,
night.
and who was guarding him most of the game was Donnie.
Yeah.
And then
Shut
the
him
next
down.
night in Portland, he had 51, dropped 51.
And Donovan had 31 against Robertson and Paul George.
Yeah, dude, two
Two
like
of the best
two of the
defenders.
best wings that would have guarded him.
Exactly. So he's
Dropped
legit.
21. The future's bright, Jazz fans.
I don't even care. If Ben Simmons, I think he's going to win over Ben Simmons straight up. I think if he's just continues sort of on this path,
So
If he
we're
keeps
just
this
gonna
path,
have him.
dude, he's easily going to be like 21, 22, averaging 21, 22
So,
points a game.
the-
And I called it a couple weeks ago. I was
Rookie of the
saying Donovan Mitchell's going to hit 40 points this year. I didn't
Already.
know it was going to happen that soon.
Yeah.
Because it literally happened like a
You
week
called it
after
like
I
the
called it.
I was gonna say. It's
Okay,
very-
that's a good segue into this because today I was getting. So Bleacher Report sent out a tweet that said Donovan Mitchell's making the Rookie of the Year race interesting. And as a graphic, it says most threes by a rookie through the first 25 games. Donovan Mitchell has 61.
Yeah.
Damian in 2012 had 56. And then
I can't remember.
I'm not going to even lie. Oh, that's Allen Iverson before Dreads. Had 54 and 96.
Really old. Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
Really young Allen Iverson, I guess.
Wyatt Iverson. Anyway,
Why not?
I said, and the only comments on here was, Simmons is a runaway. Like, is Ben Simmons dead? Ben Simmons is the Rookie of the Year, and it's not even close. So I said, anyone saying, this is my direct quote from Twitter, anyone saying Simmons and it's not even close is just admitting they don't actually watch basketball. Like, it'll probably end up being Simmons, but he won't win unanimously.
But it is close.
Other guys like Mitchell get votes. As I said, y'all just want to go with whatever the media tells you. And this response just had one response. It said, you're an idiot and don't actually watch basketball.
Nice.
So
Ben Simmons is a
arrested me.
fantastic basketball player, and I think he'll probably win. I would love if Donovan won, but to say it's not even close is just absurd.
It's lazy.
There's been very good rookies this year, not just Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Here, let me just break down these last 6 games I was looking at. Here's the last 6 games for Donovan Mitchell. 36 minutes, 31 points. I'll just go through the point total. 31, 21, 41, 24, 16. Is that 6 games? That's 5. And then 24. Rebounds, 4, 3, 0, 4, 3, 1. Assists, 4, 2, 6, 4, 2, 4. Steals, 5. 1, 1, 2, 2.
And
He
here's
doesn't have any blocks. And well, let me go to Ben Simmons. Okay, the last 6 games. So he's got 16, 0. Oh, he didn't play that game. So 16, 10, 31, 15, 5, and 20. The place he does completely dominate Mitchell's stat line is rebounds. He's got 8, 10, 6, 18, 8, and 8. And then he's got 7, 6, 7, 4, 2 assists. And then, he's got 6, 5, 2, 3, 3 steals. And he's got a couple blocks sprinkled in there. Through those 6 games, that is pretty much on par. That is even through 6 games, in my opinion, because they play different positions. Okay, Donovan Mitchell isn't being asked to rebound the ball.
It's true. Yeah, he's
at
the
all.
outlet.
So
He's the outlet.
I mean, you can't even really hold that against Donovan Mitchell. So people saying, "Oh, it's not even close." Here's the regular season stats for Ben Simmons here. He's averaging 18 points, and people are saying Ben Simmons is scoring at an average that's unheard of for a rookie. Well, Donovan Mitchell's at 17.2 points. So he's a 0.8 points behind him.
Here's what I absolutely love about Donovan Mitchell. We've played, 25 games about?
Yeah. 25 games.
We've played 25 games. Donovan Mitchell was a different player from 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 25. The game has already slowed down for him. We're not even, and we're a little over a quarter of the way through this thing, right?
Yep.
And it's amazing. The game is already slowing down for him. He's getting all these points, and he's not just being a chucker and doing so. He's doing it efficiently. If you go and look at his shot attempts, most games, it's very efficient, the points he's getting for the shots he's taking and the opportunities that he takes too. Now every time when I'm watching a Jazz game and the game is kind of on the line and I don't see those bright yellow shoes out there on the court,
you go crap.
I'm like, crap. I don't like this lineup. What's going on? I'm not a fan of this unless AB's out there.
You can honestly say that fatigue and Rubio being on the floor too long cost the Jazz that game last night.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
So
yeah.
And Donovan Mitchell is being asked to carry the offensive load for the Jazz. Yeah. Ben Simmons is not being asked to do that because he has Embiid with him. Who else is there? I got a slew of number 1 picks on that team.
Yeah, they do.
I'm drawing blanks on. They have Covington. Covington is on there. I mean, they have options. Right. Donovan Mitchell is carrying the offensive load for one team. So Ben Simmons, I'm not saying he's not going to win. He probably is because he's a generational talent. But so is Donovan Mitchell. So to say it's not even close is just lazy and not accurate at all.
Right.
And someone tell me, you guys want to guess how many 3-pointers Ben Simmons has attempted this year?
How many?
He's attempted 1 3-pointer.
Wow.
And he's supposed to be a guard.
He doesn't have an outside range.
He's a guard?
Yeah, he's a guard. He's a point guard. He's like LeBron. He can play multiple positions, but he's primarily a point guard. You need your point guard to
be shooting
spread the floor a little bit. So
let's transition here into NCAA basketball a little bit. The real thing I just want to bring up here is we have a really cool event happening this weekend. It's tomorrow, this Saturday. It's called the Beehive Classic. It's put on by Zions Bank, Larry H. Miller Group. It's at the Vivint Arena. So it's the only place where you can watch the Utes, Cougars, Aggies, and Wildcats all in one night. Utah and Utah State will play each other Saturday at 5:30 in the first time in about a decade. And those two basketball teams have played each other.
Saturday?
Saturday.
Oh, it was on Friday.
Nope. And then afterwards it'll be BYU Weber State. So all that's happening in Vivint Smart Home Arena downtown. It's a kind of cool event. Check that out. We won't spend too much time on NBA basketball just yet because we want to pick Kyle's brain a little bit here coming up. So, okay. This is another really good conversation to have. We're going to transition into our worldly politics. We always like to do a segment that's just what's going on out there in the world right now.
Hey, before we jump into the serious thing, let's just throw out real quick the one thing that I did want to talk about for 2 seconds, that Vine is coming back. Before we get heavy, V2, Vine's coming back. How do you guys feel about that?
I'm mixed. I'm a little mixed.
If they can be financially secure and well off about it, then why not? I don't care. Provide me that much more incremental entertainment, right?
It's true. It's provided a lot of memes over the last few years, and memes are important. And but it also provided a lot of content that I felt was less than enjoyable.
What are all those like Twitter famous people gonna do when they can't steal each other's tweets saying "R.I.P. Vine"? I really miss Vine with all the same.
Like Vine, here's my favorite Vine thread. And
Vine
posts,
compilation,
like, thousands of
Vine
Vines, and I, what's the worst part? I go through like the majority.
I do
of
every single one of those.
Oh,
and I follow it, dude.
Why? I don't know what it is about the 6-second videos that is so addicting. But like they had the formula right, and I'm a little worried that if they come back, they're gonna be like you said, they're maybe gonna do 12-second videos, and I just don't know.
You can now accept and send money through Vine.
Oh my gosh!
Vine now has stories.
Vine Cash.
Vine Cash.
Okay, the thing for me though is I love Vine so much, and I literally was heartbroken when they shut it down. Like I really was. And so when I got that news today, my heart leapt out of my chest. For every bad Vine, in my opinion, for every Vine where you're like, what is that? There's 3 hilarious ones.
Reverse.
You think it's reversed?
Yeah, which still made it worth it though. I thought it was fun to scroll through on.
Dude, there's just so many classics, man.
There are. We'll see what happens when it comes back, or if it does. It's the guy's side project or whatever. Yeah. So anyway.
So we'll see.
Well, welcome back, Vine. Let's see what happens. 2018 finna be wild. They might say.
You do say that.
Let's talk about Bears Ears and Grand Staircase for a little bit. For those of you who might not know kind of some of the history between these two, back in the day, Bill Clinton created the president has the power to create a national monument. I don't know if that's the same about a national forest or anything else, but
it's
I know
different designation. I'm pretty sure it's specific to national.
A national monument is what the president has some control over, a lot of control over.
It's like the Antiques Act of 1908 or whatever.
So back in the day, Bill Clinton basically dedicated Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument. It's in southern Utah. And it's a pretty big area. It's a beautiful area. It's a big plot of land, right? Say what you will about it. It doesn't fully matter. But back in the day, a lot of Utahns were actually really, really upset about this because it's basically like taking the state's land and making it federal. And a lot of conservatives really don't like government having control over these things. So take that with a grain of salt. And by all means, formulate your own opinions. That's just what the scenario was for Utah back in the day.
My parents, who were obviously back in the day were there and aware of it, they said that a lot of people used it for recreation, like dirt biking and 4-wheeling and stuff like that. So they were upset that that was getting taken
basically
away.
Gives the federal government a lot more control on what goes on in the land. If there is a resource there, they still could go get it if they want to go get it, basically. And then also the big thing of that was Bill Clinton didn't do it from Utah. He did it from the Grand Canyon or something like that. Wasn't even in the state, so people were kind of peeved about that too. And then fast forward a little bit, President Obama dedicates Bears Ears. That's kind of southeastern Utah, just south of Moab, a little further east of Moab too. And that's just another Red Rock, beautiful area, and President Barack Obama, when he was in office, dedicated this plot of land, not quite as big as Grand Staircase Escalante, dedicated this plot of land to be a national monument. Just recently, if you haven't been following the news, President Donald Trump made his first visit to the state of Utah since becoming president, and basically cut, I keep seeing Grand Staircase in half, basically, of what the national monument was, and then reduced Bears Ears by 80%. Those are the rough estimates that I had seen. And people have a lot of mixed emotions about this, and that's totally okay. I just want to have a healthy discussion here about the pros and cons. Because there are pros and cons, no matter which way you lean, right? Kyle, what are your thoughts on the whole Bears Ears?
So, okay, historically and generally, I generally lean on the side of limited government, depending on the situation. and I get it, but I think that national parks, national forests, national monuments are some of like my favorite things about this country.
The national park system is awesome.
Yeah, it's like one of the best things we've done as a country. And I love I love the NPS. I like the National Park Service quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm not like as gung ho like attacking this decision as much as some people are, because I get the idea of wanting it to be in the state's hands rather, because like the people here know the land, and like it's like it's a feeling that the people who live here should like have the land, control the land. I get that, but my fear is that that's not what's going to happen, and that's everyone else's fear who's against this, is that it's just going to be sold, and have a private company owning that land is way worse to me than the federal government owning that land. Because how many times have you just been hiking mountains or anywhere and you hit like a fence, it's like private property, like for any reason. Like a private company can own a land and designate it as private property for whatever reason they want to. And access, I think, and the biggest thing for me is that the tourism industry, the outdoor industry is gaining and building. So I think it's $880 billion a year is what the outdoor tourism industry.
Yeah, outdoor retailing.
And that benefits that area so much. So my fear, and like companies like Patagonia, who's suing Donald Trump over this, like that's the fear, is like private companies are going to buy this land, and whether they use it for drilling. I know that's not a very oil rich area. There's not a ton of resources that are super beneficial for drilling and all of that. But I do fear for the land, and as an outdoorsman, it does worry me that might be turned over to corporations that I also don't trust. The main point is I don't trust almost anyone.
So
besides the National Park Service.
Here's where I drew my line in this, and you guys let me know your thoughts on it. In my mind, it's a totally okay thing if a private company were to come into this, and honestly, I need to research more about it, because I'm also under the impression that it still becomes, everything outside of that was BLM land, and BLM basically is taking over everything that's been undedicated, I don't know what, retracted from this national monument. And the BLM is still federally controlled.
BLM's great, honestly.
Property.
And BLM gives people a lot of like recreational opportunities that national monument land does not.
It puts more control into like landowners and like the state, right? It puts more of that power. I believe
so.
So I'd have to believe if there was anything like super, super valuable underneath this rich historic like monument or like a Native American dwelling, something like that, that BLM and the state and property owners would come in and say, hold up. No, not here. You got to.
Yeah, that's what I would hope as well.
That's my hope. And if that's the kind of like checks and balances that we can create, then fine. Who cares? If like a lot of people are really happy and they feel like this land is being given back to the state and back to the people per se, right? And then if it's like if they find something, say there's this little oil reserve and it's under this empty. We had a big group conversation about this, big group text about this, and I brought up this example too, but. I want to share it with the listeners here. If there's just this huge empty plot of land and there's no natural formation, there's no Native American whatever, it's not like a hugely recreated area for the people, and there's a little oil reserve under it, like why not go and drill it? You know, if it's just like we're talking like some dirt and sagebrush, like why not go and drill it?
Yeah,
I guess it's a resource that could.
I just don't know enough about the logistics of drilling and all of that, like what that would actually look like. But my bigger problem with the whole thing, honestly, is that Donald Trump just seems like he's on like a war path of undoing everything he possibly can without much.
A lot of it seems like he's just like,
it feels
Obama
vindictive.
and Bill Clinton and the
I agree
Democrats
with what
did this,
you said.
And that's what really
in the group thread. Exactly what you said. Like it seems like Donald Trump's just hell bent on undoing anything a Democrat's ever done. So like my question in this whole thing is like why is this even an issue that's been like brought up? Like we lived with it like the way it is for how many
Grand
years?
Staircase being that
yeah,
big
it's
thing.
like not a big deal.
It was
all of a sudden.
Also,
why is this a huge issue?
Grand Staircase was the size of like some states.
Yeah, it's bigger than
it was a huge.
It's a big issue right now because Donald Trump is president right now, and everything. I mean, I think fairly he's under a lot of criticism, and so everything he does, and like I said, the warpath against Obama's decisions seems to be in full force.
Yep.
And the problem is he doesn't give, in my opinion, like I listened to his press conference thing and I listened to, I look at his tweets, unfortunately, sometimes, and like he doesn't seem to give the best description of why he's doing the things he's doing, other than like this massive overreach by the Obama administration. I'm like, okay, like if that's the main reason, I don't fully understand that. And
it seems like you're just trying to like pull a scab on
precedent where people undoing people's decisions every time the administration switches. So, like, the next Democratic president, are they just going to designate the land as a national monument
That's what I'm wondering,
is that what's going to happen? And maybe.
I really like your point here, because what you're saying is even if he does something where, like, the majority of who it's affecting might see it as a good thing, there's this weird, like, motive or stigma about him that, like, there's an ulterior motive, right? Like, it makes you think that there's something else going on than, like, he's trying to do something well. Because, like, honestly, the majority of Utahns are probably happy with this. Like, let's be honest.
I don't know.
There's probably a lot out. Like, I'm going to say the majority are happy with this, and we are a state that voted Trump into office, right? Apparently.
Did you say barely or apparently?
Both.
No. Because both are true.
But that doesn't matter, because you're saying, and I would agree with you. Like, every decision Trump makes, it seems like there's like a slimy, schemy, like
it just feels
motive
dirty
underneath, and it feels dirty, right? Even if like a good chunk of people.
If Donald Trump
like,
gave like somebody $5, there would be.
You'd be like, why?
Oh my gosh, what's wrong with him? He doesn't think that guy can make his own money. Oh my gosh, Donald Trump, what an asshole!
Dude, but even if he gave me like $1,000, he's like, hey, Brandon, I want you to have $1,000 to go do this or whatever. I'd be like, well, why? Like, what do I owe to you? Like,
is this
like,
setting me up for something?
Are you gonna like hold me as some weird like? Is this like me selling my soul to the devil? Like, what's going on? Like,
exactly.
Yeah, but so like what he did technically violates some act or something. So he is like. Whether or not this actually happens, it's hard to say, because he's being sued right now by multiple organizations and companies, and by the time I don't know if this is even going to be where we're going to end up at the other end of this, or how long it's going to take, if it's going to get stuck in court forever. But that's kind of my thing, is like what I feel like he's doing. It just feels malicious. Like I don't think personal opinion time. Don't think he's a good person at all. So I don't think that he really cares about the local people of San Juan County, Utah. Like, I don't think he genuinely cares at all. And I don't think he cares about the Native Americans. Like, also the Native American tribes are also split on this. Like, because they had like a Native American person with them when they did the announcement in the Capitol building. But there's also like 4 Navajo tribes in that area who stand with Bears Ears, where they are protest. So they had Native Americans inside and outside of the Capitol building yesterday.
Dude,
Saturday.
I've seen both too. I've seen some of this is awesome. Like, we're getting our land back. Like, the state.
I genuinely just don't know. It's hard to say, because I think it's kind of Utah does have a history of selling land to companies to drill. I don't know if this is going to be one of those instances, and it's just hard to say, like, at this point.
It just seems like a shot at the Obama administration.
And that's, I think, a big problem.
Unnecessary.
Yeah.
That, like, this issue, we shouldn't be having this issue right now.
The other thing is, like, what Trump has done through his presidency so far is the majority of it's been through executive order. And I think the irony of a conservative president using an executive order to get stuff done is, like, I think that's striking a lot of people badly. And this, the fighting federal, what you deem as federal overreach, back with what others deem as federal overreach seems, it's just, oh my gosh,
it's a mess.
I don't know. Sometimes there are days that I just can't, like, read the news, because I'm just like, I just got to put my head down for a couple years.
Cass, you got anything, dude? I see you want to jump in.
I do want to jump in, but I enjoyed just listening to you guys discuss this, because I've listened to a lot of things about it, and I've read a lot of things, but I still just, it just makes me feel sick overall.
Yeah,
and like what Brendan was asking about, or like saying how, like, why not just go drill it? Like, I think that we could, but I think that would just open the door to, like, ruin the land on a large scale, instead of them just like going in for like a small area, I think it would just open it up to the entire area.
Like once you drill once, the precedent's there.
Yeah, it's
to
just
like
gonna
drill
open
again.
the door, and then they're just gonna go for all of it. So that's where
the time's got to come when we stop relying on the Middle East for oil, though. The time's got to come at some point. I'm not saying Utah's that.
I think
here's what you do: you elect Elon Musk as your president, and you go all in energy. You go electric. You go nuclear.
Yes.
I was just
about
to
to
say,
Mars, boy.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know, dude.
You gotta stop relying on oil.
Coal's
That's
getting
a whole other issue.
Coal's
But-
getting cut off. Oil's gonna get cut off.
Yeah.
At some point, like it just has to be. We just got to bite the bullet as a country and realize that nuclear isn't that scary if it's used as an energy, and get Elon Musk's technology and brain multiplied and cloned.
Roadsters.
We need
for the
his
whole
brain.
country.
We need
Everyone gets a roadster.
Exactly.
Boy Elon.
Tesla roadsters. You get a roadster. You get a roadster.
Everybody gets a school complete with faculty.
Anyway.
We'd love to hear y'all's opinions on this. Please tweet at us at BD_podcast, at Mr. Anderson _93, at Simply Dylan, at Calypso, at Kessler Bear. Please tweet at us. We'd love to hear other opinions. There's no right or wrong opinion, man. Your opinion is your own. And we respect each and everybody's opinions, whether if it's completely opposite
To a fault.
from mine. Oh. Kessler won't, so don't talk to Kessler about
Kessler's going to catch you with a block.
Kessler's going to be throwing hands at someone.
I'm saying to a fault we respect other people's opinions.
Catching me with that block, dude.
Oh.
Gonna pull a Rudy Gobert and Dylan.
Point is, if you guys want to further the discussion, please bring it up. If you know, I feel like I've tried to do some pretty surface level research. I really want to take the time to dig deeper into it because I want to know, more of what power does the BLM have? What power does the state have? Who calls the shots if a private company wants to come in and do this? Can somebody reject it? I want to know all that. And so if you're educating this and you want to, inform us and educate us a little bit, then please tweet at us. We'd love to continue the conversation on Twitter. Okay, let's talk our funny stories real quick. And then we're going to interview Kyle real quick. And that will be episode 10 of this podcast. So,
Okay.
Dill, you want to go first?
Yeah, my funny story is, so you heard that our boy Herm Edwards, who has been an ESPN analyst for a long time, he's head coach of the Jets for a while, has had a couple college coaching gigs back in the early 90s, has taken the job of Arizona State to be their head coach. He's most famous for his little freak out rant that he did when he was the head coach of the Jets when they asked him, I can't remember what the media guy asked him, but he just started screaming in the microphone, "You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game." So now he's the head coach of Arizona State. And he seems to not know what the mascot of Arizona State is because one of a local blogger is at the press conference, asks him a question and tells him what blog he's from the Devil's Digest, and he kind of gets spooked. Devil? I have the video right here. We can listen to it. He's like, I'm a Catholic, so.
Paul Ravino, Devil's Digest.
Devil's Digest, huh?
Yes, sir.
Where you located, my man?
Right here in Tempe.
Okay, Devil's Digest. Okay. I'm Catholic now. I'm a Christian.
Damn it, I already lost.
You can see devils all over the
I
place.
ain't taking it personal.
Oh my gosh.
He 100% has no idea that Arizona State's mascot's a Sun Devil.
He's sitting there in front of a bunch of devil forks.
Oh my gosh.
Where are you located at, my man? Right here in Tempe. Well, I'm a Christian. I'm a Catholic, so
Not gonna take it personal.
don't try any of that devil
Yeah.
stuff on me. The
Wow.
blogger's just like,
Don't
okay.
say yourself.
Well, shout out to Tywin, big Sun Devils fan.
Hey. So there you go. Herm Edwards has no idea what the mascot of his team is.
That's so sad.
All right, let's go up to the skies for this one. We've seen
Again?
What? Yeah, again.
Okay.
I like to go in the sky for this. No turkeys were harmed in the making of this funny story. Okay, there was a New York to Seattle flight. Okay, so one of the longest spans in the U.S. you could do. New York to Seattle. This was December 6th, So just the story came out today, but I think this was just yesterday. So they had to make an emergency landing in Montana. They were flying from JFK, and they had to divert to Billings, Montana, while en route to Seattle.
I love Montana, by the way.
And here's the thing: is you're waiting for the engine went out, or something's going on with this plane, it's gonna go down. The toilets stopped working, and they had to make a toilet break. They had to take a bathroom break in Billings, Montana, because so many people on this flight were complaining because they were all backed up. You know what I mean? So
literally,
man.
So
what does that look? Is that that's like a 2-hour delay? I feel.
So the report says all toilets were full and passengers needed to go really bad. Was the quote?
Dude, you know what I would have said as the pilot? Not my problem. Like you should have thought about that before we took off. I'm not stopping.
So the plane had to take this emergency landing in Billings, Montana, so the passengers could relieve themselves.
Okay, so they have to all get off the plane.
Yeah.
And do that, and then all go through the security checks again to get back
No,
on
you
the
don't
plane.
leave the
no,
terminal.
you don't have to leave the terminal. No,
Yeah.
Okay,
no.
but still, I'd be really pissed
That's
off if I was
at
the
least a
pilot.
2-hour delay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So this was a Delta flight too, and Delta is
They've
in
been
my
pretty good
opinion,
lately.
dude, Delta's like the Apple of.
It's in recent years.
They're the Harmons of the
honestly,
skies.
it isn't really hard to be a good airline. I feel like at this point, all you have to do is to not tackle people off your planes, not abuse animals on your cargo areas. But Delta's good.
Yep.
Delta's good.
Southwest also hasn't had an incident.
Fly
I feel like.
Delta.
Alaska, maybe not. I don't know.
Alaska Airlines good.
I think United and American people are. It's just the standard for garbage.
Anyways,
That'd be horrible.
we don't even have to vote on this one. Dylan won, so it's
That's.
whatever.
I mean, that would suck to be on that plane.
Devil Digest, huh?
I don't even care.
I'm a Catholic, so watch out for them devils.
All right. In case y'all didn't know, it's our boy at KSX Daywalker at Calypso's in the house. We want to ask him a few questions here, similar to what we did with our boy at Kessler Bear. Everybody's just known as our at names nowadays. It's not even a first name basis; it's just an at name
It
basis.
really is.
But we have featured him. We've plugged in some of his work and some places to go. If you don't know, incredibly talented photographer, and we are so blessed to have him on the podcast today. Kyle, we wanted to do a little Q&A with you if you're up for it.
I'd love to.
There are we did a lot of these similar ones with Kessler, and we got some really good responses from it.
Yeah.
And to have somebody your caliber, Kessler's caliber, you guys on the show to be able to answer some of these questions, man, it's big for aspiring photographers, people looking to make it a full-time gig or a part-time gig, and just how you guys have been dealing with that and how you've been juggling that, things like that. I want to start off with your top 3 favorite spots to photograph portrait and landscape. So I guess it's
Top 3. Should we do Utah or just anywhere?
Dude, just your spots. Doesn't matter.
So 3 of the prettiest landscapes that I know of. Let's see. I'll give you one in Utah. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna do a couple in Utah. I'm gonna do one Wasatch. Okay, so Wasatch. I would have to say that there is this secret peak that we have found. It's in Big Cottonwood Canyon. It's near the S-curve area, and that's as far as I'll go. But there's this certain hike you can go to that's near the S-curve in Big Cottonwood Canyon. And it's not a very long hike, but you get this incredible view up Milby of just insane peaks. Kessler knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's just, there's this and if you dig through my photos, you can find a photo of Zach jumping over a rock in that exact spot. But there's just some incredible landscape in that area. Next favorite one, I'm going to go in southern Utah. And I'm going to say that it's going to be Capitol Reef.
Hey.
Yeah. Capitol Reef National Park is one of my favorites. I think it might be my favorite park in the state now because
Dude, it's been a while since I've been there, man. I need to go back.
There's nobody there.
Yeah, that's nice.
And it's we went there and let's see, when was that? It was towards the beginning of fall, and there was just no one there. We had the entire park to ourselves. Upper Cathedral Valley with those jetting sand peaks out of the ground. It's just incredible. But we were just way too lucky to have so many perfect landscapes here.
I've never actually been down there. I want to go.
Oh my goodness, it's incredible.
Let's find one out.
I would love to, and it's desert season, so yeah. Those are 2 in Utah. Another landscape place not in Utah. It's got to be the Tetons.
Love the Tetons.
Every place you go around that Teton Valley is just so picturesque.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Kessler has a picture on his phone right now of the Tetons, but there's just so many places. But the one in particular is that Delta Lake hike. That's just
Still haven't done that.
Oh my goodness, it's a. Well, I will do it with you. It is brutal, and every time I've done it, it's been so hard.
So worth it though.
It's very worth it. It's just.
I once did that hike in the span of 7 days, like on a Sunday to Sunday. Did it twice.
He did twice in 7 days.
Yeah.
Portraits. I do like a lot of portraits within those landscapes as well. But I'm a big coastal portrait guy. Like I love portraits on the beach. I think the ocean adds a really interesting dynamic to portraits. So Carlsbad shouts out to our boys' spots.
Hey.
Love Carlsbad.
Got a board and brew between.
Bust up
Yeah.
board and brew.
I like city portraits a lot. Like when you get like some light bokeh in the background. So I think Salt Lake is a really good spot for that because we get some really good like landscape, cityscape stuff that you can combine, and portraits really good there. Specific portrait spots. What else? There's a spot in the mouth of Little Cottonwood Canyon. You can get really it's a really popular family portrait spot, like right in the Temple Quarry area. But there's the rock bed where the river comes down. It's all this white granite rock, really cool peaks in the background, really cool trees around there, and usually river flowing through. Yeah, those are my 3 of each.
Sweet.
Okay. So what's been the most embarrassing or most memorable story while on a photo shoot?
Both. One of each.
Oh man.
Or just
embarrassing. I've just had so many Kessler and I have both done a lot of weddings together, and we've done a lot of weddings separate as well. But being a wedding photographer puts you in a lot of weird situations, in every way. The weirdest one is having brides' mothers or groom's mothers fight with me over some things. That's happened many times. They're like, well, are you getting it this way? And I'm like, yes. Yes, I promise.
This is why I was hired.
And then there's where was I? There was one in particular where the bride's stepmom or groom's stepmom, someone was a step parent who also thought they were the wedding photographer. So a lot of pictures right next to me. A lot of flash going off when I'm trying to film some video. A lot of flash going off when I'm trying to take photos. And it was just the most miserable experience. That's not really embarrassing. Well, I was embarrassed for her, so it was embarrassing.
That's fine.
That's even worse than being embarrassed for yourself.
I was I was embarrassed for everyone that was watching it happen. She had no shame. It was so, just the lack of self-awareness was astounding. Most memorable on a photo shoot. I've had so many memorable trips that I could easily count as that. Most memorable. That's a tough one.
Not necessarily most memorable, but just something. Just the first thing that pops into your head that you're man, that was awesome.
Oh my goodness. Well, the one of the best shoots, trips, whatever you can call it, was the first time I went to the Tetons. Happened to be with Kessler over here. Glad Kessler showed up here, but
shouts out.
Kessler and I had never really been there. I think each of us have probably gone through there as a kid, maybe.
I don't think I'd only gone to Yellowstone.
Yeah, I'd probably just gone to Yellowstone as well. I can't remember really going. I've been to Jackson Hole, but Kessler and I went on a trip there right when we were really getting into photography, and it was just the two of us who were kind of really into taking pictures at the time. But we just rolled up to Jackson, drove through the night, slept in a parking garage the first night, rented a canoe backpack camping, which was us essentially canoeing across a lake, carrying the canoe to another lake, canoeing across that lake, and camping at a camp spot. Just
through the tempest.
Through the tempest. We had all of our stuff. We had a guitar. The canoe was barely above the lake level, and the two of us were in it, and we we still went for it.
Pretty
and,
sketchy having all the gear and stuff.
Yeah, we had thousands of dollars of camera gear. The guitar,
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of terrifying. It was raining and it was windy at first, and then
Very
really calm night. And then that was my most, like, I think inspired me the most, quite honestly, that trip. And it was probably the most monumental trip that I've had as far as what got me really inspired with photography and taking photos outside.
That was a good one for sure.
That's awesome. Okay, this one is gonna cut to the core of you.
Cool.
Where do you find your inspiration from?
Honestly, as a kid, I just always loved being outside. I love having like a family that appreciates the outdoors, but especially growing up with like my mom's dad, my grandpa was really into like making sure we were always hiking and being outside, and he would always take us hiking and fishing and whatever else, and my dad was very much the same way. My grandpa so much so that like when he passed away, he was cremated, and we took his ashes into Timpanogos, and like that's always been a very special thing for my family. So being outside was always like my biggest inspiration, just because there were always kids in like middle school with like Hollister shirts. I was one of them, but they also were saying like, "Oh, I hate Utah. Like my family goes to Disneyland once a year. I can't wait to move to California when I'm 18."
I'm from California.
Yeah, people pretending you're from California or like thinking they were like I'm like, California's
I'm from
cool, but like,
Oceanside.
yeah, I'm from Fresno. Like Bakersfield is really tight. Yeah,
I'm from Baker, yo.
It was frustrating to me as a kid and like growing up that people didn't seem to appreciate Utah very much, and like how lucky we are to have like the ultimate outdoor playground right here. And I get that the beach is cool, and I get that it gets hot here and it gets cold here, but like my inspiration 100% has been like being outside in Utah because it's the best.
That's
like I
awesome.
could not appreciate it anymore.
Utah.
People working together.
Utah.
Gordon Hayward's a snake.
Yep. There's our anthem.
Okay.
Okay.
One final question for you,
Sure.
real quick. For all of those aspiring photographers out there, if you could leave them with one bit of advice to continue pursuing whatever dream there is, whether it's like to be a professional photographer or part-time, whatever it is, to all those aspiring, just beginner photographers out there, what's the one most important piece of advice you would give them?
Okay, I'm going to divide it into two. First, never, like, just shoot as much as you physically can and find somebody, like a friend that has an interest in photography, maybe light interest, who's willing to go out there with you. I keep talking about Kessler, but Kessler and I, like, both got each other into photography so much, and it ended up spreading to the rest of our friends, which was awesome. And, like, we had fun with groups of friends taking photos. But at first, it was legitimately Kessler and me just, like, taking photos of each other, with each other, of like just waking up really early in the morning, catching sunrise, catching sunset, taking photos, editing, and like doing it again and again and again. There were just like so many, whether it was cold or hot or whatever, Kessler and I were doing that all the time. So shooting as much as you possibly can is just incredibly important, because anyone can buy a camera, anyone can like buy lenses and editing software and whatever, and all that stuff, it honestly is important. Gear is important. I think editing is important, and crafting a look that is important. But really getting out there and putting all those things into practice is the most important thing. And then also not defining your success based on some like monetary level. I mean, obviously that you should have a goal in mind of what you want to do with photography, but like success means entirely different things. Like for me, I'm not pursuing photography as like a job or anything like that, but I feel like I found a really good point of success in my photography, because for me, it's like more important for me to like capture memories, capture situations that I think I'm going to look back and be really important for me. And at the time, that always hasn't been my goal. There were times when I've done it for work more seriously than others, part-time, attempted to do it full-time for a while. And it's honestly not right for everyone, but that doesn't mean that you have to be pursuing photography as a career to be absolutely in love with photography, because you can do both. And for those that are like, I mean, you do have to have a little bit of luck, but like working really, really hard in photography and finding a job in photography is obviously a really cool thing. We have friends that do that, and that's obviously a possible measure of success. But really, just like being happy with your work is a really good feeling. Sharing your work can be a really good feeling. And just like taking photos that you think are important to you, and hopefully other people find them important as well, is success for me. So
Awesome. Love it.
True.
Absolutely love it.
True, fam. Well, for all you guys that are interested in photography, and are out there hustling and grinding, take that advice, man, and run with it.
Yeah, and slide into the DMs if you have questions, or you can catch a block from Kessler, because you're just kidding. Nicest guy. He'll answer your questions.
Okay.
So
Catch
please
a
reach
block
out,
and catch those hands, dude.
at Calypso, at Kessler Bear, or at BD_podcast. We can help facilitate if you guys want to talk to anybody. Shout us out. Shout these guys out. Go check out their work. If you see anything and you guys are really excited, really like it, let them know that you heard it from the B&D podcast. We would love to know that we've helped our friends and artists that we've plugged in. We'd love to know if we're really helping to facilitate some fans out there for them and followers, things like that. So let us know. Connect with us. We'd love to talk to you and bring the discussion outside of the podcast. But from all of us here, the B&D podcast, Brandon Anderson and Dylan Brown, we absolutely love having you guys follow us and stay with us throughout this time. We hope we provided you with just awesome, excellent content. We hope to keep it rolling for you for many years to come.
Hey guys, I know this was a long one, a little longer than usual. Thanks for sticking with us. You got treated at the end if you stayed because you got some sweet advice. Also, before we end this, be sure to check out our new home, the BrokenSpokenNetwork.com. Check out all the cool podcasts and the roster there. We'd appreciate it if you supported that because they've added us onto their roster, and that's a really cool thing. So, yeah, check them out and support that. Continue to support us. Continue to support any podcast or anything that you're into. We really appreciate it, and people that put this type of content out appreciate all the support. So, again, thank you. And
look at our little podcast growing.
Hey, what up?
Let's go, baby.
So yeah, we'll end it there. Thanks, guys, and we hope you have a terrific weekend.
Have a fantastic weekend, gang.
Peace.
Let's go play basketball.